Welcome back, another day. That chipper guy here, we're out here working. I've got one issue with this spruce that we're not used to having. Let's see if I can, that's about all we got from the camera. So on our job, we're on a flail chipper and we debark trees. So you have trees that are debarked, we take the bark and limbs off. So as you can tell, some of these trees are kind of what we call hairy, because they just got limbs growing off all over like that. See what I mean? Well, that spruce, the limbs are cut. Oh, golly, that hurt. Right in my ribs. Really? Oh, hold on a second. I gotta get rearranged. That one hurt. Yeah, there's a couple dead chunks here that run over. And what it's doing is, we usually spread the bark out, run it over, and smash it into the ground. And then it can decompose, hold moisture, help the soil out a little bit. But there's a problem. It's all that hairy stuff that you can see kicking around on all the spruce likes to grab a hold of it and drag it. So as we were sitting last night talking, sometimes what you do is if you have a really nasty stump or something, you throw a little bark on it, drive over it, it'll level it off a little bit. Well, yesterday I was trying to, we had a couple of these Rock Your World stumps like we just hit there a second ago that hurt. Wasn't prepared for that one. And put some bark over it, drug a few bundles, kept rocking and rolling, everything's working out. For every bundle you grab a grapple full of bark. Okay, and as you can tell here in a second, I'm losing ground still because the other skitter's down. So, it's dragging the bark. So I put it over the stumps, come back through, and the stumps are still there. Well, usually it gets better through here after you put a little bark down. No, not getting good at all. Still rocking your world. So therefore, I was sitting here last night and I pushed up behind the chipper, clean out behind the chipper at the end of every day. That way you're ready to go in the morning. And I'm like, all that stuff right there behind the chipper is all debarked limbs already. Well, it's dragging that garbage all the way back to the stinking chipper. And then you gotta get rid of it again. So it's like you're moving it twice. So one thing we learned was, don't drop any bark close, because it'll pull itself all the way back up here. Because all them nasty limbs coming off there, and they're so hairy, and them limbs are strong. They don't like just break off real easy. And because of that, they're holding on to all the bark. Right now I'm going to drive up behind, I'm going to grapple up this stuff right here under the conveyor. We're not going to push anything right now. That looks good, John. You're a boss. And it just drags it all the way up here. It's dragging it all the way up here. I dragged some wood to the left over there. So like that stump right, all these stumps through here on a normal job would already have been leveled off. And even if we weren't spreading bark through here on a normal job with just different trees, it seems like it usually pushes dirt up around them to help them out. But for some reason, that nasty limbs on that spruce like keep them brushed clean, and they just rock your world all the way through here. Something I've never had the wonderful joy of experiencing. You know what I mean? But this is our first We've done spruce jobs. Smaller stuff of spruce, but it was smaller diameter wood. This stuff here is pretty big, but it's just soft ground, stumps sticking up, and they don't disappear like we're used to. So you got to be a little more assertive where things are at so that you don't get hurt, like we did there at the beginning of the video, because it just rocked the world. So the other skidders having a little bit of DEF issues. They replaced the injector, DEF injector, the DEF pump, DEF cap, and the pre-filter on the DEF. And they're going to see if that works. They come and run the computer through it one day, didn't work, came back the next day, put the injector in, didn't work, back today with the pump and the pre-filter. See if we can get that thing rocking and rolling. We had this problem 5 years ago, 5 years ago, with another skidder, and it needed a little bit of work, and they seemed to work on it for a couple days, and then it finally come around. And like skidders like this have not had any DEF problems, and the other one hasn't. So we had one our skidder right at the beginning of its life, which is just like this skidder, little issues. So they're working on that, hopefully done sooner than later. I can keep up with the chipper just fine. It's the bark that adds up so fast. I mean, it is hard to keep up with the bark coming off this stuff. Yucky, nasty. So, something I've never experienced is when it's pulling that bark. Oh, see, them should not be there. On a normal job, them wouldn't be there. But this spruce, it's like a broom. Because brooms are all clean. But it is what it is. Learning with pine. A little snug in here, but you got a couple feet on each side. So that's about it. See what I mean? Every time you come through here, it's another giant pile of bark. That's how it goes. It just makes bark and makes bark and makes bark. The more wood you bring, the more bark you got. You're constantly trying to move it out of your way. Because I wasn't prepared for the other thing. I don't know why he tells them we have pines. That's all we have here. So you shouldn't have to tell them.
I just wondered if this radio was working.
Oh, it's working, Roger. 10-4, affirmative that. Copy. Copy that. Mic check. 10-4, Roger.